Wait, are we rolling?
We are rolling.
Oh. Welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I'm Eric.
And here at the Morning Ramble, we believe in magic in a young girl's heart.
Is that a song lyric?
Yeah, it is.
From who?
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? That's all the song I know. That's all I know.
Oh, must be new.
No, it's old. It's quite old.
I know. All right, how's it going, Matt?
I'm doing well. I'm back.
That's right, he's back.
You may have noticed last week that there was a significant lack of Matt. I was a little busy with work with the cold weather. I fix furnaces. So, as you can imagine, I was a little busy.
Yeah.
But back this week, and we'll be back
2 degrees will do that.
Forever.
Forever.
All whether
right.
you watch or not.
So, not much happened this week in the news, I know. That was a joke. Before we get into the heat of, there's a handful of topics we can pick up, I wanted to talk about the most important thing that happened. And that is our beloved friend, Gritty. Did you know he had a Twitter?
No. What?
He has a Twitter. And
Awesome.
He tweets.
And he's verified, I see.
He is verified. So all those other fake Gritties that are out there.
Yeah, he is legit.
He is legit. So he tweeted out that he was packing up for the big All-Star trip. I'm guessing that has something to do with Flyers. I don't follow NHL, and I'm not going to even attempt to pretend like I do. Whatever the All-Star trip is, he was packing for it. And he lets us know that he's trying to keep it to the essentials, and he asks us if he's missing anything. So here is Gritty's list of things that he packed up for the All-Star trip. So let's take a look here what he thinks are essentials. A skimboard.
What? Okay.
That's what it says. Swimmies. Tanning oils. I hate that word. Ale plant.
Aloe.
I know. I hate the word. His jersey. Makes sense. Underwear, in parentheses, the good pair. So apparently he has bad pairs.
Don't we all?
We do. Pepper, and then it says salt will be provided by the NHL mascots. Face masks and beard essentials, of course.
Obviously.
Got to keep that mane nice and silky and
supple.
Yep. Ice skates, obvious.
Makes sense.
AirPods. AirPods. Oh, is that those earbuds?
Yeah, the
for Apple
wireless earbuds.
Okay. I feel like an old man. Rope.
What?
Rope. Change purse.
What?
Rash guard. Because he gets rashes. A world atlas. Shark repellent. Breathe right strips. Because he snores.
They do
a good attitude.
He doesn't have a nose.
Doesn't he? Let's look. Nope. He doesn't.
He doesn't have a nose.
He has no nose. He has no nose. But look at that beard.
It is good.
He's grooming it.
It is good.
So, and a good attitude. And then he has a couple reminders. It says download Trolls and Fiery documentary on Netflix.
Fire documentary. The Fire Festival.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that was. Oh, wait. I know what the Fire Festival is.
Yeah.
That thing that went horribly wrong.
Yeah. Everything went horribly wrong.
Yeah. I know very little of it. Take care of that thing with that guy.
Is that what he needs the rope for?
I don't know. Call hotel, request adjoining room with Claude.
Who the hell is Claude?
I'm hoping a hockey player, but who knows? Get money from ATM, in parentheses, no paper trail. And set away message. So that is the list that Gritty tweeted out. And I have to say, it's just the essentials. So, yeah, keeping up with Gritty.
When I looked at Gritty the first time, and my real reaction was recorded here on the Morning Ramble, I was terrified. I thought he was a demon.
Yeah.
And as I went farther down the rabbit hole, I thought for sure that he was indeed not a demon, but an angel.
Well, he's
And
a
now-
serial killer, it sounds like. But
And now, from what I've learned, he's a little more of a gray character than I thought.
he's our current Dexter.
Yeah, he's got hopes and dreams, just like everybody.
That's a show I'd watch. Dexter, but take out Michael C. Hall and put in Gritty.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
Oh.
Also, the book series is good until you get later into them.
Oh,
I still haven't read the last one because the one before that was abysmal.
I can't read. So
We're going to do a book review one of these days once Eric finishes the book.
I plan on tackling a big chunk of it tomorrow because I'm going to be stuck somewhere for a couple hours. So
Yes, that is true.
yeah, I plan on. I'll let you know how far I get. I'll get there. Ooh, mystery book. All right, so real quick, let's talk about some candidates.
Oh, boy.
So last week we had a slew of candidates announced, and I kind of went through a couple of them, bunch of nobodies. But we have some more nobodies.
Wait a minute. You didn't say the name of the segment.
They know what it is.
This is Candidate Watch.
They know what it is. Yeah, it's something that people expect now, especially as we go into February.
Yeah.
So everything I said has come true because I'm never wrong. And everyone's announcing. So we have a couple people announcing here. Earlier last week we had Senator Kamala Harris announce that she's running for president in 2020. That is not a surprise at all. That is one of the main ones I expected. I think I saw an article or an interview she did said that the election of 2016 inspired her to run. Duh. Like, I don't know. Like, what else inspired you? I don't understand. Like, obviously the opposition party inspired you. So, I don't know. Do you know anything about her?
No.
Okay.
She exists. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. And then we have an Indiana mayor, Pete. Are we 4 years old?
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Excuse me, President Buttigieg. We have a situation.
How do you pronounce that, though?
I don't know.
I need to know. I'll figure it out. So he entered the 2020 presidential race. He is only 37, and
He's a young buck.
He's a Democratic mayor from South Bend, Indiana, and he's announced that he's, I like how they say this, launching a presidential exploratory committee.
That's what most of the candidates have said, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a presidential exploratory committee. They haven't necessarily announced, I'm running for president.
But I think Kamala Harris said she's I mean, everyone kind of says they're running, so I'm just going to consider them all saying they're running. We'll keep adding them to that photo until I can't fit anymore.
Do you know the fun fact about this Buttigieg?
Buttigieg.
During the last election, or the election before, I'm not sure which, he ran for state senate and lost.
Well, that's like the other guy who announced he's running. Oh man, what's his name? The veteran. He said he lost the state congressman. No, not the state. He was a state congressman. He was running for Congress this past election in November. Lost 5 days later. Announced he was running for president. So I don't quite get that.
Yeah, I mean when you're losing, the only place you can go is up. So I guess aim for the stars.
What's the worst that can happen?
You lose.
Yeah.
And that's about.
Well, you know what? Anything can go viral nowadays. Anything can get some momentum behind it. It's not all about. I mean, it's all about the money and the party backing you. But political movements or political opinion can easily shift back and forth between candidates. So, who knows what will happen in a year or two. But, yeah, so just 2 more added. We'll see who else announces by next week. I'm sure there'll be another 2 or 3 more. Who knows?
We shall see.
And as we start getting more and more, maybe we'll go into a deeper dive into each of them and see which, or at least the ones that we think matter, I guess. I don't know. That have a good shot at it. So
it's hard to say what will matter. Just as a little sidebar, we wanted to watch a movie that came out this past week.
We did. We
didn't get to it yet. We will, and then we're going to do a review on it on here. But I just want to have you bring something up on the screen that I sent you the Rotten Tomatoes scores for Glass.
Yes, Glass.
Because I think that the Rotten Tomatoes score is sitting around 39
Mm-hmm.
critic rating.
Yeah.
And like 80 audience rating, which is a huge margin. And we've seen that way more in the past few years.
Yeah. Well, I did see that as far as viewer reviews, I know that I think Unbreakable, the first movie of this trilogy-esque thing that Shyamalan's doing, I think got a C, and then Split got a B+, and this got a B or a B- or something like that. So it as far as the viewers go, it hit right in the ballpark, right where it was supposed to. I'm very intrigued. They have not given a lot out in the trailer, and I haven't seen any spoilers yet, so I'm happy about that. So hopefully we can get to go see that before next week.
Yeah, hopefully. So, I really want to,
because I want to review
want to get out there, because there's got to be something.
Yeah,
there's got to be something to these scores. I'm very confused.
Yeah, yep, definitely. All right, and that's pretty much the important stuff this week. Nothing else happening in America.
Oh yeah, we forgot. The government's still shut down.
All right.
Now, I've noticed something very recently. When this shutdown started, everyone was saying, it's a government shutdown, it's government shutdown, it's government shutdown. Now, a lot of the language being used is a partial government shutdown.
Yes.
Nothing has changed.
Well, I've known it's a partial for a while, because people don't...
But it's just what... It's just the language people are using.
Yes.
I'm not sure why.
So, I'm not going to act like I know everything, but just because I have family members who are federally employed, like, military, a lot of the military obviously is still funded, national defense, and a lot of...
except the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Coast
but
Guard
even...
is defunded.
Even, like, civilian branches of, like, employment, like who work like within the Army or Air Force and stuff like that, a lot of them are working and still getting paid because their budget is kind of held separate.
Oh, their budget is in the defense budget.
Yes,
and this is Homeland Security.
Kind of, yeah. And then obviously the post office is still going.
Yeah.
So, so we touched upon the shutdown. I think we're in the 36th day. I don't even know. We're getting up.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
This is the longest ever government shutdown.
Ever. So there's a lot of perspectives. Is this a Democratic shutdown? Is this a Republican shutdown? What's holding it up? And I know you feel passionately about one side. I'm kind of just chilling over here.
I don't feel compassionately about one side, Eric.
Okay. Well, break it down. What do you think about it so far?
Here's what I'm feeling about this.
So.
And I was actually getting pretty heated in my own head about this cluster. Yeah. With another word added into it, because we're trying to keep this show PG-13, so we can only say fuck once. Wait, damn.
You used it.
You
can't say it later.
All right. Anyway.
All right.
So earlier in the week, actually last week, I've been listening to a lot of news. So, and I do get my news primarily from NPR, a good place to get your news, especially when you're on the road as much as I am. Yeah. Earlier in the week, they were talking about how they're trying to switch the pressure.
Yeah.
So it's like right now, as it stands, the pressure is on the Republican side. More so than it is on the Democratic side.
I think that's one viewpoint. Go ahead, no, continue.
Well, it's like that's the perspective that a lot of people are seeing.
Yeah. Real quick before you continue, I just want to talk about, so you get most of your news from NPR? Is there anywhere else that you kind of dabble in?
Yeah.
So I
get some online sources.
Okay.
But my main source of news is NPR.
So I think it'd be really cool if you feel like, I'm actually intrigued for everyone who's watching, just comment below, what are like the top 3 places that you get your actual news? So like, because I just, for example, this is what I do. I have my phone set up for CNN to give me notifications. I don't like CNN. but they're the only ones I have set up on my phone. Whenever they have a breaking story or something, I think I have it set for middle tier, like you can have it. They send me notifications, and usually I either read or skim the article. I usually look on Twitter, like trending, to see what's popping up, and then if I find something interesting, then I'll dive into Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and I'll just Google kind of and pick out an article. And then I also watch a lot of like online podcasters, conservative, like Ben Shapiro, Andrew Klavan, and then I also watch like Philip DeFranco, more on the social kind of side, but he does a lot of good deep dives. He just did a recent one about the Venezuelan government, which we're not going to get into today, but that's a big thing that's happening right now. But anyway, I'm curious to see where everyone gets their news, because where you get your news is kind of like where your opinion on this shutdown kind of lines up. But go ahead and what you're saying.
So they're trying to switch the pressure over.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not saying one poll here.
Mm-hmm.
The average of all the polls taken have the president's ratings being lower.
Yes.
In this shutdown.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they went down. They weren't great to begin with, but they went down.
Even the Fox News one is down.
Yeah.
So that's not like a politically motivated thing.
No, it's definitely the president who has the longest shutdown is going to have the lowest rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you can kind of see some of the ramifications of that on the way he's talking. Which, yeah, either side is going to want to blame it on the other side.
Of course.
So here is the Matt Hans proposal. Here's the proposal. Congress, if you're listening.
We know you are.
Pick this up.
Nancy.
Fund the wall. But start with parts that are already owned by the government. And then in 2 years, we will see if we still have a Republican in office. And that is going to dictate the rest of the building of the wall. And it is regardless of how this turns out.
Yeah.
Because if we get a Democratic president in 2020, this wall project is shut down.
Yeah. So let me throw my 2 cents in as far as, because everyone, I think probably a lot of what you're listening to, it's all focused on this is a Republican shutdown because we have a Republican Senate, we have a Republican president. So two sides of the story is we have a House that is run by Democrats who want to pass a bill without the wall funding. And they don't see why it needs to be included in the funding, and they think it should go through, and then we could talk about a separate bill for funds to go for a wall afterwards. Republicans are in the Senate. They want it to be included in the budget because they view it as necessary, and they view this as the solution, or a big part of the solution, for the border security, and they want to pass it through. And that's pretty much the clash that we're having. Donald Trump, I think last week or a week before, just offered to also include in the funding 3 years of funding for DACA.
Yes, I saw that.
And the Republicans said no to that. And that's kind of where I went from I don't care about the shutdown, or I'm not really blaming anyone, because I wasn't.
The Democrats said no to that.
Yeah, they said no to that. But the thing is, like, I kind of was just like, I wasn't blaming Republicans or Democrats. It's just politics being politics, and I was just annoyed. But now I'm starting to get a little mad at Democrats, because that was something that they were holding up last year, because I saw on my...
Yes, that is the reason why the government shut down in
last year, because there wasn't DACA funding. So now Trump's saying, he's throwing him a bone and saying, listen, I want my wall, I want my border security. I'm going to give you 3 years of funding of DACA on top of it. That way, that, and then they responded with, oh, well, those are 2 separate issues. Well, yes, it's 2 separate issues, but it's still funding. We're talking about funding here. So I'm going to stop with that because I don't want to keep going on that. But also, Ben Shapiro, he said something today, earlier this week, about what he thinks should happen. And this would kind of basically make it so that the Democrats don't give Trump a win, and then Trump can't say, oh, I beat the Democrat. You know what I mean? Is that, why don't we just say, we're going to give $5.7 billion to border security, and then just give the funds to like ICE and the Border Patrol and they can do whatever they want with the money. So if they think that $5.7 billion should go to a wall, then it'll go to a wall. If they think it should go to hiring more people or more judges for immigration, then have it go to that. But that way, the Democrats, and then if they use it for the wall, Democrats will like, okay, well, we didn't give them the wall. They gave them the wall. We just gave the funding for border security. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think of that?
That doesn't work out for me.
You don't think so?
No, because it's like if you're giving them the exact amount. Now,
or maybe not the exact amount, but give them an amount.
I'm a spirit of compromise.
Yeah.
I always have been. I've always been pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
When it comes to things like this. The problems I have with the wall is the things we talked about before. Eminent domain, part of the wall as it is drawn out.
Yeah, it's only like a couple 100 feet, I think it's for the budget.
Yeah.
Like in high-risk areas, they want
as the entire wall is drawn out, part of that wall would go through a Native American territory.
Okay.
I'm not cool with that. That's more.
I don't know about that. Is the territory on both Mexico and U.S. like is it a reservation like right in the middle of the border, or like where?
You can't put a reservation right in the middle of the border, and you can't really put a wall on the border.
So the reservation is like up against the border.
The wall is up against the reservation is up against the border, but the wall has to be on U.S. soil.
Yeah,
it can't be on the border.
I mean, how much space is it going to take?
So a couple 100 yards and stuff, but. Either way, they're still taking land from people. I'm not cool with that. I've never been cool with that. Eminent domain is something that really pisses me off.
I'm with you on eminent domain. With the wall and the border thing, I mean, how much actual like infrastructure or like people's property or personal things are actually like right on the border where they need to build this fence or wall? Because I guess it's like steel beams or whatever. I mean, like no one's like backyard with like a playground is sitting there. Do you know what I mean? And if there was, I'd kind of want a wall.
I mean, if you see some of the border pictures and stuff,
I have, yeah, like
there's some stuff that's right there.
Yeah, there's like a highway along. I saw. I don't know what city it was, but there was like a highway on the U.S. side with like just a huge city, and then the other side was like desert, nothing. You know. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I think right now Congress and everyone in the country is nitpicking on saying, yes, we want more border security, and then there's the people that don't care about borders or whatever. But the majority of America says, yes, we do need border security, and it's just a matter of who decides the best way to do it. And I just feel like the people that should decide are the people that are in charge of it. Like, I live in Pennsylvania. I've never been to the border. I don't know what it's like down there. I only see what I see in the news and what people say. So when we have like government cabinets like the EPA where we give them funding and then they make regulations like off of the environment or whatever like that, why can't we give funding to the Border Patrol or ICE and give them funding and then they will decide how it's done? Like, because Congress loves to pass off decisions so they're not cast on any blame.
But you know what?
So what makes this any different?
If we're on the spirit of let's figure out a compromise.
Yeah.
Maybe keep that DACA in. Now, not included in the DACA program at all is a pathway to citizenship, which is weird.
What's that?
Like there's no program in when it comes to DACA.
Yeah.
Where it's like, let's help these people become citizens. That's not involved. Maybe add that in as well. Reduce the amount of funding to $4 billion or something, and do what you said. Throw it over to those dudes and let them figure it out.
Yeah, because, I mean, one of Trump's things, and again, I'm only going off of his word and what his cabinet has said and what I've seen online, is that Border Patrol agents say that a wall would be extremely helpful in certain areas on the border. And it would make their job a lot easier if they had that type of barrier. So I mean, if they're saying that it's needed in certain areas, then I just feel like why wouldn't we give? And then I don't understand why we wouldn't give them money, because then I saw that Democrats this week were drawing up something in their version of the funding where they'll be like, oh, we're going to give funding to border security, but it's going to be for like technological advances like advanced scanners and more patrolmen and more judges for immigration. And while all that sounds good, I don't understand why they have to micromanage. I think it's more so just an anti-Trump decision. Like, we don't want to do it because Trump says so, that kind of thing. So I just don't think this is one party shutdown. I think this is just people.
Oh no, it's definitely both parties.
I think it's
pissed off at both sides.
Yeah. I think it's literally 2-on-2. I think it's Trump and McConnell on one side, and I think it's Nancy and Schumer on the other side, and they're just arguing with each other pretty much.
Yeah, until one of them has a heart attack
and
dies.
Yeah. I think Nancy.
Her blood pressure's probably pretty high at this point.
Who knows? McConnell, he looks so calm all the time. He just might just fall over.
Inside is a burning rage furnace.
Yeah.
I want to step back for a second because you were saying that, a lot of America thinks that border security is important.
Yeah.
On that same thing, and I know this isn't the same issue. It's not comparing apples to oranges. But something I feel strongly about. It's like our country is a pretty good country.
Yeah.
I like living here. It could be better.
Me too.
But it's like when people are like, well, we can give this money to healthcare or something. That's not apples to oranges. It's not. But I look at the infrastructure and, I look at the roads. I look at the electrical grid. I look at all of these things. I think, man, wouldn't it be great if we had a government in place in charge of keeping this country running properly? Meanwhile, we've got a 60-year-old grid. Our roads are full of potholes. And I know that a lot of that is local. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it is held back by local funding. Yeah. So, and then this becomes an issue of federal government versus state government.
Well, here's the thing.
And stuff. It's frustrating.
You asked me before how I felt about the shutdown, and I didn't give you an answer. But in a very blunt term, this sounds harsh. I just don't care that much. And the reason why is that I think we're seeing, I understand there's 800,000 families currently don't have income coming in because they work for the government, like TSA, like DMV kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, any of those workers. But the majority of people's lives haven't really changed much.
Not yet.
Not yet is the thing. But I think a lot of things that the government runs, as you said, the infrastructure's crap, right? I feel like things can get done differently, and we don't have to always stay to the status quo. Meaning, okay, for you drive a lot, you travel, you fix people's heaters. You drive on the turnpike, right? On private roads. How are they?
The turnpike sucks.
Is there a lot of potholes?
Yes.
Is there?
Have you driven on the turnpike recently? It is garbage.
It's been 3 years.
It is a toll road, and it is garbage.
It's been 2 years, I think. 2 years.
Yeah, there are some parts that are nice.
Yeah.
But there's always ongoing construction because all they ever do with these roads is they patch them. Yeah. That's all they ever do. If you want to repave a road, you have to go down a certain amount.
Well, honestly, that's all that they do around here locally either.
Exactly.
They usually just skim a little bit on the top
and then just put a little on the top, throw more on, and then it's bad in 5 years. And
well, my point is that I wouldn't be against someone privatizing the roads, maybe giving out a government contract, and then money can go to a private company, or maybe there would be more of instead of you being taxed for the roads, maybe there'd be something on your car, that you'd pay into to go towards the roads. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm not going full libertarian on you. I'm not going to be get rid of the government completely, but I'm just saying there are certain things that are very inefficient in the government's hands. Postal service is okay. FedEx is better.
Yeah.
So UPS is better. Good competition.
UPS is even better.
Good competition going between the two. I'm just saying that certain things don't have to be reliant upon tax dollars. And yes, 5.7 billion could go towards somewhere else, but there's also a lot of crazy unnecessary spending everywhere else in the budget. Where if a normal person sat down with a list, he'd be like, "Why is this much money going here? Why is this much money going here?"
The thing that really concerns me about the government shutdown is education. With the budget not being passed, a lot of public schools aren't getting the early in the year money that they need. and
I saw that
it's gotten
one
to
of
the
those
point where
schools,
they're
yeah.
already starting to pare back lunch options for kids.
I think it was a local school here in PA that I guess they have like an emergency fund where all the community put money into it. Like they always have it apparently on hand in case of this situation to pay for food for kids, not even just lunch, but also like breakfast and dinner, like so they have something to go home with.
Yeah,
And when I say
and
that,
that's also
yeah.
what's confusing me about. Now there was a proposal to fund everything, to fund the government, bring the government back online until February.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't pass, and it didn't have anything extra in it.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that just so that they could get it on? Is it just because
Who blinks first? Who blinks first? It's literally
it behooves
it's like an intimidation game. Like it's whoever blinks. Like right now they're just kind of staring at each other down to see who gives in. It's whoever
behooves both parties to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't work together, at some point eventually people will lose faith in the two-party system, which is why we are seeing an upsurge in third-party support.
Yeah.
Is it going to be enough the next election? No.
No. I think we're going to have
20 years.
They're getting a couple elections. We're definitely going to see a third person on that stage for final debates and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm for that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I want 4. I want 5. As many people up there as possible to choose from, and an equal amount of people to vote for. Yeah, I don't know. It is very petty. You know, I'm kind of open to a bunch of stuff. I'm open to maybe how about we pass a bill, and instead of, why don't we say, okay, here's $4 billion. It's going to be for border security. We're not going to say what it's for yet, but once you pass this budget in a month, we'll then start to debate where this will get broken down into. You know what I mean? And then you can argue about the wall, but as long as the funds are secured, maybe that would be a good option. I don't know. I'm not a congressman, but to me, I feel like two average people anywhere in the United States probably can come to a conclusion better than what we're seeing now. Because right now it does seem a little ridiculous that adults can't come to an agreement. I also think, though, it's a lot has to do with their party. You know, I see online a lot of, I'm not targeting them, but I see a lot of Democrats just saying, stand strong, hold firm, don't give in to this orange buffoon, you know, that kind of talk. So when you have the majority of your party, and I'm talking from the standpoint of like Schumer and Pelosi, constantly yelling at you, don't give in, you know what I mean? They're pretty much fighting for their seat, you know, to hold their seat, you know, because they're doing whatever their party says. Same thing with Republicans. So
yeah, if you don't do what your party says, you'll lose funding.
Yeah.
Just like the government is.
Yeah.
I just twitched because of how stupid that is.
I definitely think they shouldn't be paid, and I don't know how to make that happen, but the fact that
they should pass a law. Oh wait, they can't.
Yeah, talk about a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Talk about a huge conflict of interest. When did that go into place? You know, that congressmen and senators will still get paid even though the government shutdown is baffling to me. I guess they're kind of under the branch of the military, which doesn't make any sense because it's not like they're.
I guess
maybe because they have to work to order to get the money back.
I guess half of these people, well, more than half of these people, 99.9% of these people, if they miss a couple paychecks, who cares? They've got millions of dollars in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's they've lost touch with reality.
Oh, they definitely have. Did you see what's his name? Harris, one of Trump's cabinet members. I think he said he doesn't understand why people who are furloughed right now are struggling to eat. Just take out a loan, he said. Like, talk about being out of touch. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, sure. Let me go get this loan. What's that? 20% APR? Sure. Yeah, that's great. Let me get that interest.
Yeah, cool. I'm in debt now.
I'm in debt, and you're going to pay me back, and now I have to owe interest on top of groceries. So, yeah, are they out of touch, to answer your question? Yes. Yes, they are out of touch. Because the fact that, just go get a loan, because everyone could just go get a loan randomly, you know?
It's weird, like, when we look at different, and this is why so many people are, you know, yelling, check your privilege, check your privilege, check your privilege. we're tall white men.
I'm a little short, but okay.
And with that
Why'd
comes...
you have to say tall? Does it have something to do with my privilege?
It does actually have something to do with psychology. Tall men are generally more respected than short men. Sorry, short men.
Yeah.
But we do have a certain amount of clout just by existing. But at the same time, can you imagine just being some dude who's been like, I've been a millionaire for 40 years. What are bills?
Well, that...
I've got a guy for that.
Yeah, well, I think I can't believe I'm bringing this up. I was not watching Ellen, but there was a video online. Hold on. It was Bill Gates on Ellen, and basically
I was actually going to bring this up.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, then you must have saw the same viral video that I did, that he had to guess the price of certain normal grocery items, and the things that he said was outrageous. Like, I think it was like Tide Pods came on, and it was like the big container, and because I work in a drugstore, I'm like, oh, that's $20, and he's just like $5, and everyone just starts laughing at him. And then like there was a box of like noodles, and he's like 15, and they're like three. Like, what are you talking about? So, but yeah, out of touch, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, Ellen probably wouldn't have done good on that either.
Well, yeah, she's also
she's worth a ridiculous amount of money. So it's still going on.
It's frustrating.
I literally don't know when it's going to stop. What is the next? I wonder what the next step is. Like, what happens if it doesn't get funded for another month? Like, would there something else happen? Like, would we lose something else? Like
I don't know. I
have no clue.
I hope we don't find out. I hope they come to an agreement next week, so that we can joyously say they came to an agreement.
Yeah.
And trust me, I will be saying it in this tone of voice because, man, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. And then when you have the extremes on both parties, both shouting at their, at their congressmen and senators, don't give in, and the majority of Americans that, like us, are kind of quiet. We're not really like making a fuss about it everywhere. Just I think would easily be able to compromise. So,
it's tough. Well, now that we've brought it down. Do we have anything else to say this week?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us here.
Make America great again. Yeah, no, nothing else to talk about.
Thank you all for joining us here on the Morning Ramble.
See you guys next week.
Have a good day.
It'll be fun.